Hey, today I have another tip for you, and it is about electrical tape. So when you're stamping on metal, you're going to be using a bench block. Some people use an anvil, and we talked about that in a previous video. And in another video, I talked with you about when we're stamping metal, that you're actually displacing the metal molecules instead of carving the metal. So we're not removing metal, we're moving it. And so when you're doing that, whatever metal you're stamping on is going to pick up the impression on the back of whatever you're stamping against. So if I'm stamping on concrete, when I flip my piece over, it's going to have an impression of the texture of the concrete behind. So that's why you want to use a smooth bench block, is so that it's smooth on the back. But even then, you can still end up with scratches and nicks and things in the back of the piece that you're working on, and I'm going to show you what that looks like really quickly before I put the tape on my bench block. So I'm just peeling PVC off of these blanks. I just want you to see that I'm just using fresh blanks here. So you can see it's nice and clean and shiny. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp a word onto this. Let's just do the word tape. I'm not going to do a nice job. I just want to show you what happens to the back of it. Sorry, we have an overcast day, so my lighting is a little inconsistent. Almost finished. Normally I stamp slower than that so that I don't make it all crazy looking, but here's our word tape there. And you can see how, if I hold it right, the displaced metal kind of pushes up around the edges of the letters there. And then on the back, you can see where it's scratched just from rubbing up against the metal of the bench block. So just that friction caused those scratches, and then the displaced metal wanted to push up off of the sides because it couldn't push out the back. It had to push to the sides here. Okay, so then the next piece we're going to do with some electrical tape on our bench block, and I just want to show you the difference of what happens there. And while I'm at it, I'll show you one other trick with the electrical tape. Okay, let's do this. So I'm just going to cut probably about 3 strips. If I was stamping a larger piece, then I would go ahead and cover the entire bench block. But I'm just working with small pieces, so I'm just going to cover the center of this. And you don't need to stick it on perfectly. And I just let some overlap on the edges so that when I'm ready to change out my tape, I can just peel it from the sides. And I'm just lining these 2 edges up so that it's as smooth as I can get it, so that I don't have a lip of tape here or anything like that. Just tapping those 2 edges together there. I don't want a gap and I don't want a lip, so just trying to line them up the best I can. Okay, so here's my next nice shiny blank there. Okay, so I'm putting that shiny side down just so that you can see what's going to happen. And then I talked in another video also about how I don't really use masking tape or anything like that to get a straight line with my letters. I just go with kind of muscle memory. But since then, I'll kind of zoom out a little bit here. My collection of fonts has grown quite a bit. And so I haven't worked with them enough to really get the feel for it. So I decided to go ahead and try tape again, but masking tape and things, I just could not feel the edge of the tape with my stamp. But electrical tape, you have a thick enough edge here that you really can get a good grip of it with your stamp. So what I'm doing is just setting my stamp here where I want it to be, and then sliding it down until I feel the edge of the tape click against the bottom of the letter that I'm stamping. And then I'll get a nice clean line at the bottom of my word. I'm just doing the word tape again here. Had to hit that one 2 times because I could feel myself rolling a little bit, so I had to tip it back so I could get a clean image. But I can reuse this piece of electrical tape here for another word. And then here's the word tape that I just stamped. Now with this one, you'll notice that the metal is not pushing up around the side here. So can you see that? On this one that we didn't use any tape, the metal kind of comes up next to the letter in a wave. Whoops. But with this one, we don't have that happening. It's just a nice flat surface here. And then when I turn it over, there are no markings on the back. This is 14 gauge aluminum. If I was using thinner aluminum, then you would probably see the reverse image of the letters bulging out a little bit, but it's really clean looking. So here's our comparison of the fronts. This one has no tape, and this one had tape. And then the backs. This one has kind of that scratched up surface, and this one is just nice and clean. So back up a little for you to see a little better there. And then also that tape is going to make it so that you can get those nice clean impressions. So there's our tape and our yucky back and our nice back. All right, hope that was helpful for you, and hopefully you can get some nicer finished products using your electrical tape. Duct tape works on your bench block as well. I just use electrical tape. So have a great day.